Hello and welcome once again to our family workshop. In this video, we're giving you a beginner's guide to scroll saw blades. I think if you interviewed 100 scroll sawers and asked them all for their blade preferences, there's a good chance you'll get 100 different answers. There are so many different scroll saw blades and there are so many different preferences. But the idea of this video is to give beginners an insight into what you might want to be looking for in your own scroll saw blades. So let's get straight into it. What are the fundamental things to look for? And again, it is worth noting this isn't a definitive guide, but hopefully it will be useful if you are new to scroll sawing and scroll saw blades. So the first thing then, it's the numbers system. What you'll notice when it comes to scroll saw blades, there is a numbers system. And as a general rule, all the systems, all the companies, the manufacturers, the general rule that you will find is the higher the number, the thicker the material that it will cut. So for instance, as a general rule, a number 5 scroll saw blades will cut thinner woods than, for instance, a number 9. So if you find that your scroll saw blade is struggling to cut 1/2 inch hardwoods, if you go to a higher number scroll saw blade, it should be able to do the job more effectively. But there are a number of other factors to consider when it comes to selecting a scroll saw blade. The next consideration is the material that you are cutting, because that is one of the beautiful parts of working with a scroll saw is its versatility. It can cut metal, plastic, chipboards, plywoods, softwoods, and also hardwoods. Those are just a few examples for you. If you are cutting metal, and that is something that I will admit from the outset is not my area of expertise because I am a woodworker, you will have specific scroll saw blades for that job. If you are cutting, let's say, softwoods, you will have certain types of blades that are more suitable for doing that job. If you are working, like ourselves then, in hardwoods, you will have other blades that are more suitable to that job and more effective for cutting in hardwoods. So blade selection is an important thing to consider. And one approach that you can take when it comes to trying to find your perfect scroll saw blade is trial and error. The problem with that, of course, is it's expensive. You have to buy a lot of different blades. You have to spend time figuring out which blade suits you best. Another important factor to consider when it comes to selecting a scroll saw blade is T.P.I. And if you're a beginner, your first question probably, what on earth is T.P.I? Basically, T.P.I stands for teeth per inch, and this has a massive impact on the performance of your scroll saw blades. To give you the background on this aspect, we have actually worked with the same scroll saw blade for over 20 years. It does the job, it works effectively, and we've never had any issues with it. But it's actually the inspiration for making this video. What has happened this year, we went to buy our blades, our Nikwa number 9 reverse tooth blades from Hegner here in the UK, as we normally do, and they informed us they're not selling them any longer. So I thought, no problem, we'll go and have a look on eBay and we'll buy some Nikwa number 9 reverse tooth blades. Waited a week, the blades turned up, and much to my surprise, I'm looking at them and thinking, what on earth are these? Have I just been sold fakes? Or is there something different about these blades? Because they were completely different to what I have been buying for the last 20 years. So on further investigation, what I found out is that Nikwa produce different types of woodworking number 9 reverse tooth scroll saw blades. The one that I had been working in and that I recommend is the Nikwa Speed number 9 reverse tooth blades. What I ended up finding is what I bought was a Nikwa Fix reverse, and they just weren't good at doing the job that I do. So when I looked into it, what was the problem with them? Ultimately, it came down to T.P.I. They had a lot more teeth per inch. So what effect does having more teeth per inch have on your scroll sawing? Basically, the more teeth you have per inch, the slower the feed speed when cutting on your scroll saw. So because the scroll saw blades that I bought had more teeth per inch than the Nikwa Speed that I am used to working in, it meant that the feed speed was dramatically slower. That resulted in me trying to push the item through the scroll saw too quickly. I was forcing the blade and forcing the machine as opposed to letting it cut naturally and more steadily, and the result was I ended up burning the item that I was cutting out. So some of you may look at that and say, well, that's user error. But ultimately, I've used the same blade for 20 years and it cuts quickly, cleanly, and effectively. It's what I'm used to working in, and whilst, yes, it is indeed user error that I was pushing the blade too quickly, for me, that Nikwa Fix reverse is inferior to work with because it can't do the job as well as I want it to do and as well as I am used to the blade doing. I've now bought 144 scroll saw blades, and as far as I'm concerned, they're utterly useless. So at this stage you can think, well, it's disaster, isn't it? We tend not to think in that way. We tend to look for a positive outcome. So I was immediately looking around, what blades are available to me? Where can I get my blades from? And let's have a look at what is out there. So I've looked around on different sort of forums, that sort of thing, Facebook pages, and 2 brands seem to come up time and again. And those 2 are Pegasus and Flying Dutchman. As I'm looking then, Pegasus, these are available here in the UK. So I started looking through what they had available and I purchased some Pegasus blades. The Flying Dutchman ones, I had to actually get in touch with websites in America. But again, they had some good ideas, some good blade solutions, and I bought some to try out. So that's what we're going to have in the coming month, is to see the results, what I would recommend and what I wouldn't recommend for cutting out hardwoods. On top of that then, why, you may ask, do we recommend reverse tooth blades? The reason we like reverse tooth blades, it gives you a cleaner cut on the bottom edge. There's less work to clean that up afterwards. That means less time spent doing finishing work afterwards, which ultimately saves us time to concentrate on our scroll sawing and our wood carving. So that's why we recommend a reverse tooth blade, is because you have a cleaner finish both top and bottom, as opposed to the standard blade, which tends to give you a clean cut on the top of the item as you're cutting it out, but more time later on cleaning up the finish on the bottom edge of the item. But on top of those sorts of things, there are so many different types of scroll saw blades. Double skip tooth, reverse skip tooth, modified geometry, super skip, and a new one for ourselves, a hook tooth blade. That one there, we're going to be interested to trial that one out because that has been designed specifically for hardwoods. And I think that that may be quite an interesting blade. So to sum up then, when you're working in hardwood like ourselves, what are you looking for in a blade? I'm looking for a blade that has around about 9 teeth per inch. I'm looking for around about a number 9, and it is a blade that is designed for cutting wood. So those are some of the things that I am looking for. You may ask, well, why are you looking for that? The basic rule of thumb when it comes to teeth per inch, the more teeth, that you have on the blade, the finer the finish that you get. So logically, you're thinking the more teeth you've got, the better, because you get a finer, better quality finish. But that's not the case. The more teeth that you have on the scroll saw blades, the slower the feed speed. So that was the reason that we had issues with our new Nikwa number 9 reverse tooth fix reverse blade. There were too many teeth per inch, and this meant that the feed speed was too slow for the way we work, and it resulted in the blade burning on the finish. So if you're doing more fine and precise work, having more teeth per inch might be preferable. If you are doing similar work to ourselves, where we're cutting out hardwood that is between 1/2 inch and 1 inch in thickness, fewer teeth per inch is actually better, because it allows the blade to get rid of the waste material, to clean it as it's going, and it cuts more quickly. And for ourselves, it is a finer finish because it's not burning the item as it cuts. So there you go. Hopefully that gives you a few little insights into the whole blade concept. The two things that you want to mainly be looking at is the number. So the higher the number, the thicker the wood that the blade can cut. And you also then want to have a look at things like the teeth per inch and decide how many teeth per inch you need, because it is a balance between the accuracy and the quality of the finish with the more teeth against the feed speeds which you get by having fewer teeth. So those are some of the things when you're finding out your perfect blade. Have a look through those different things. The numbers system and the T.P.I. On top of that then, you've got those different styles of blades. Have a play about, find out what suits yourself. Remember, if you're working in things like softwood and you're doing bigger items, you've also got those spiral blades, which might be suitable for the work that you do. Hopefully that's useful. Hopefully it's interesting. If you've got any questions, feel free, get them in the comments section. As always, we do our best to help out in any way we can. Thank you for watching. If you're new here and that is useful, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you know when we upload another video. And again, thank you all for watching.